Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And welcome, everybody. I am RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com. And it's time for another, what's become nightly episodes now, and I'm loving it, of talking with crowdfunding comics and independent comics publishers. And tonight we are talking with, Robert Geronimo.
How's
And
it
he's the
going?
man behind the Blood Realm. Robert, how you doing?
Doing pretty well. Happy to be here. Nice to meet you.
Glad to have you here. I've seen you on other shows,
Mhm.
and I just put out the call the other night for people to come on the show, and
I
you,
saw.
you responded. I'm like, how about Wednesday? And here we are, new
There we
comic
are.
book day.
That's right. That's the day to do it. I like the graphic here. Blood realm with the blood. My goodness.
Again, that's something that I've been playing with. That
I
the,
dig
the
it.
basic level of StreamYard lets you do.
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of fun with the overlays and stuff,
That's
especially
awesome.
with the LCS guys that we do every 2 weeks.
Hmm.
I make the thumbnail. I'm cutting their heads off and putting them on superhero figures, and it's
Nice.
getting hairy because I have to top myself every week now.
See, that's what
I did
happened
that one
now.
already. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one I've worked on today was for not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday after. And the
Mhm.
LCS guys, for those watching, is a show where we have local. Well, they're not local to me now, but
Mhm.
comic shop owners. We have Yule Carter from Berkeley, Michael
Oh,
Tierney
yeah.
from
You.
Little Rock,
Mm.
Dave Dyer from Belleville, Illinois, and
Mm.
Ryan Seymour from Cleveland, Ohio. And then last
Cool.
night we had Larry Dougherty join us from larryscomics.net. So it was 5. Getting a little unwieldy here, and StreamYard will
Mm.
let you have 10. I'm not sure if I'm
Wow.
going to do that because it makes me moderate too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a lot of work.
But yeah, so the thumbnail I worked out for this one was I reproduced the X-Men Days of Future Past cover
Mm.
with the Wanda
Uh-huh.
poster in the back.
You put their
Basically, have you
faces.
seen these guys? Yeah. So we'll see how close that comes to
That's
working out.
great. That's great.
So Blood Realm, this is not an Indiegogo. This is
No.
or is it? No, it's not.
No.
This
Yeah.
is straight through Alterna with Peter Smetty's outfit. So
Absolutely.
how did you get that hooked up?
Well, I submitted to Alterna about 2018, and it's been great ever since working with Peter. Uh, Blood Realm is a dark fantasy horror series. I'm a big fan of Greek mythology and also the writings of Clive Barker and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to mesh it together, and have this Lord of the Rings-esque fantasy with a little bit of The Exorcist in it. And Peter
Cool.
was down. He loved it. And now I'm just wrapping up the 3rd volume. And I don't know, I keep adding more and more and more. I guess because the sales are good. But I guess once the sales are bad,
Yeah.
I'll stop. I'll just stop.
As soon as they go down a little bit, go out on a high.
That's it. That's it. So, I keep coming up with all these ideas. People say they want more. I'm like, you better want more because I'm killing myself here thinking of this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you never want to be that guy that's being talked about in comics forums 20 years down the road. It's like, yeah, Blood Realm, man, that had a really great run from here to here, but it got to here and the
Yes.
guy just kind of lost it.
Yeah, I
Because that's
know.
what
Because
sticks.
yeah, that is what sticks. Exactly. And I have a clear ending. I pitched the entire saga to him, and he loved the crazy idea, and he's like, let's roll with it. Fortunately, his wife was in the room when he was looking at submissions, and she saw Blood Realm, and she was like, "You're going to publish that, right?" And he was like, "Oh, now I have to."
Yeah,
So
absolutely, you have
this
to.
is Samedi. Thank you.
So take us into the Blood Realm. You've told us
Mhm.
a little bit now. It's Greek
Sure.
mythology and the kind of world it is. But
The vibe,
uh,
yeah.
and before I even get there, you do the writing and the drawing. I'm guessing.
Yes.
Geronimo draws. You are an artist.
Yes. So I do the writing, the illustrating, the lettering, and the coloring. So it's a full
Easy to
time.
split the check.
That's why I did it. No, I'm kidding. No, but really, I've always been attracted to creators who are. I was talking with Josh Howard. He's doing T-Bird and Throttle. I don't know if you saw that on Indiegogo, but he's a newly inducted Alterna member. So
Yeah, we just had him on the show last week.
did you really? Oh my God.
Yes, we
Okay.
did.
Oh, great. Yeah,
Nobody watches our show. Um,
honest mistake. I was
you're,
busy drawing. All right.
we're on the UHF band of YouTube.
I see that. So, we were talking about how we've always been attracted and gravitated to creators who work on everything on a book. That's why we both agreed that Frank Miller was a big inspiration to us, because the man did everything in his book. Sometimes he actually obviously had someone color, but
Sure.
just the idea that someone can put their vision on paper was something I always found very inspiring. And yeah, so that's mainly why I decided to kind of go that route. I used to do freelance for other companies, particularly indie companies. I don't know if Moonstone Books is still around, but I did some freelance for them.
I
And
think I've heard of them.
yeah, they used to do all like pulp hero kind of stuff, like the
Yeah.
Phantom. I love the Phantom. And
Oh yeah.
after my experience there, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of bringing other people's visions to life. I want to have my own story to tell. And I love Greek mythology, but again, this isn't Greek mythology. It's my own world with gods, monsters, and terrifying beings. And it's the lands of Mordrin is the setting where I kind of play and put all these characters against each other.
Now, are these gods and monsters the gods and monsters that we know, or are they
No.
analogs to them?
No, they're completely different gods.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say based on, it's not like, hey, here's Apollo and here's
No. It's just I'm just
Greek or Roman on that one.
Apollo is. Oh, shame on me. I think Apollo
Yeah,
is.
I had 3 years of Latin and classic theology, and sometimes I still get the Romans and the Greeks. Somebody stole from somebody. I was like, hey, these gods are public domain. Let's make them our own.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm just inspired by Greek mythology and history. I teach art history and stuff like that. So I've always been attracted to religion and mythological tales. So particularly Clash of the Titans. I say this all the time. That movie, really, the original one, not the 2010.
Yeah, the Harryhausen.
Yeah. Harryhausen is brilliant. And but
By the way, the boss is in the house.
I was just going to say, let me sit up a little bit now. Okay. Hey, Pete.
You're welcome to share the link to him if you want to. I mean, it'd be glad to have him in.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Where is the link? Oh, yeah. Right. You sent it to me. Okay. So, yeah. That's kind of the inspiration for Blood Realm, how everything kind of jump-started.
A lot of people that I've talked to who do the mythology route, and I talked to a few of them. A lot of them mentioned the Ray Harryhausen films and how much of an impact that had on them. I've got that film somewhere. I need to dig it back out again and start watching it, because maybe it'll inspire me.
Oh, yeah.
I'll wake up and magically know how to draw, because right now I can write. I really have some comic books in me that I'd love to publish, but I cannot draw. And I've got the writing chops because I work for Destroyer Books. I write the Remo Williams series.
Oh, that's cool.
So I can do the writing thing, but you know what? It's like I've talked with a lot of the crowdfunded people who are just the writers, and it's something I keep driving home with the people who contribute to these, is that if he gets $6,000 and its goal, that's break even, because he had to pay the artist in advance at least that much a good page rate.
Oh yeah. No, it's an artist can get expensive. There's no doubt about it.
Especially if you want one that people are going to buy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I mean, I guess you can shop around and find the right style, depending how much skill are you going to sacrifice for the price. It's hard, but generally it's pretty expensive.
So when it comes to your own art on Blood Realm here, did you have any inspirations for the look?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So I'm a big fan of comics, obviously, but I wanted to make something that was totally different than what's on the shelves now. I think that's one of the draws about the book and why it's doing well.
Good, that'll do it.
Right. Yeah, it's got to be. I want it to be unique and different, because I mean, this is a whole nother thing, but I feel like it's just not with comics, but just different forms of media. Everything is starting to look the same. And
Yeah.
again, just seeing a voice on the shelf that is that character, not that character, that creator's voice, I think is very compelling. And with Blood Realm, I wanted to make it look like an ancient text. So when you open this book, it's a lot of silhouettes. Everything is traditional aside from the red coloring that was Peter's suggestion. And I'm very glad he suggested it because now it's become like synonymous with the series. But I wanted to have this visceral look, dirty inks, splatter, stuff like that, and very aggressive. And again, that feel of opening a book as if it's this ancient text. I wanted to create this immersive quality with it.
Yeah, like an illustrated manuscript.
Exactly.
Do you have any pages you can share with us? Do a little screen share on it.
Let's see. I do. You can Google. I don't have anything ready at the moment, unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, if I screen share, it will crash the system.
Oh, will it really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got, I think I'm trying to run Streamlabs on just a step above a TRS 80.
Oh no.
It's not that bad. It's a 5-year-old computer, but it's seen its better days, and all the processing power is running the StreamYard thing here.
Right. Okay. So I have an image here. Okay. All right. So now share screen. Very good. Oh no. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I'm still getting used to the whole. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now I share this, and you have to accept, right?
And there it is, and I'll add it.
Yes. So this is one of the very early pages. As you progress through the volumes, so far we're on volume 3. Things start to get a little bit more dirty, but this is a good gist of a page from the very first volume because it kind of captures that silhouette, negative space design element of the series that I was really going for. I wanted to feel like a fairy tale almost, like an illustrated book mixed with comics.
I love that. Now that's I know the term I'm looking for, but I haven't used it in a while, so my brain's filed it somewhere in the back and says we'll never need it again. Scratchboard.
Yes, right.
Scratchboard technique.
Right. It's similar to Scratchboard. So this is all ink and white gesso paint, and some of it's just the bare white of the paper, and the splatter effect is with a toothbrush.
So this is not with digital. You're doing this by hand.
Yes. The only thing that is digital is the red in the back. That's it.
Okay. Well, that's and this is the way it is all throughout. It's black and splatter and scratch, and then red to draw the eye. That is very cool. So why is it called the Blood Realm? And what is the overarching plot here?
Okay, so the plot basically is this war between humans and this race of goat kind called Satrians, and each volume is a different perspective of that war. So the first volume we kind of follow the humans. I say kind of because the protagonists are these 3 sisters that kind of have these supernatural abilities, so they're kind of post-human or beyond human a little bit. And then the second volume we follow the Satrians, who were the enemies in the first volume. So just to get a different perspective of that war. And right now we just wrapped up the third volume. I won't spoil where that goes, and we follow a different perspective there.
Okay. Now, you said you've mapped out the entire arc.
Yes.
As far as where it's going to go. Do you have anything in mind about how many issues that's going to be?
Yes. So each volume is a 3-issue miniseries. So right now, the 9th issue is going to be releasing. I originally agreed to 5 volumes, but now I just added a total of 6. Okay. I didn't add 6, but now I added one more to make it 6 volumes.
18 total books.
Yeah, and then eventually, once the saga wraps, we're going to do an Indiegogo for the full, complete edition, which is going to be like an omnibus, and I want it to be hardcover and look like the cover to be like an illuminated manuscript.
Yeah, hardcovers are great for those kind of things. I was going to ask if you were going to go like 9 and 9 for trade paperback releases.
Yeah, no, we're
I
gonna
don't know
go
how well that
full.
would break, but
Yeah, it's gonna be one full giant graphic novel. What's great is that what Alterna does is they release these giants. It's called Alterna Giants, and they have complete volumes in newsprint. So it's like 80 pages, one whole volume for only $4.99. You can't beat that.
very cool. Now, as a creator with your own creation,
Hmm.
you definitely focus a lot on that all the time.
Yes.
But you have to hit burnout at some level,
Oh yeah.
and stretch into other areas.
Oh yeah.
Have you been playing around with any other ideas? I mean, where are you going to? Are you going to do Blood Realm until it's done and then do something new, or are you going to do something new and then go back to Blood Realm?
Right. No, that's a good question. So okay, so I have one story that I want to do really bad. It's on the side. It's like a 3-issue little mini. It's an homage to slasher horror from the 80s and 90s because I was a big fan of that stuff. So that's something I definitely want to dabble in. And I plan on doing an Indiegogo for that maybe sometime next year. I don't think I'll be ready this year. But otherwise, it's Blood Realm 24/7.
Slasher horror is fun. Doing that in a comic book is difficult too, because
Yes.
uh, you don't really realize it with a slasher horror film, but a lot of that relies on the music and the
Hmm.
audio
Yeah.
that builds that tension up. Uh, but I did see one a long time ago that really did a good job of it, and I can't even remember who published it, but it was called Twister,
Ooh, okay.
and it was a book. And this is way before Dexter, by the way. It was
Hmm.
it was a serial killer, and his
Oh,
pattern was serial killers.
oh, wow.
So he was a serial killer who killed serial killers, and
Well, that's definitely Dexter.
yeah, exactly. So it was, but it was really fun. He had it masked thing. It wasn't like he was a vigilante either. I mean, he was. It wasn't like he was out for justice.
Right.
He truly had all the serial killer urges. He was
Hmm.
just, had targeted his desires for that to go to that particular kind of victim.
Everyone needs a
But
hobby.
everyone needs a hobby. Why not kill? Uh,
Serial
doing
killers.
society a
Everyone
favor.
kills serial
Uh,
killers, though.
Best serial killing I ever do is a great big bowl of cornflakes, and I killed that one. It's gone. I've
Cornflakes, huh?
done.
You're a cornflake guy.
Well, they're frosted, and
Oh,
they're great.
nice segue.
I, well, I, I still get choked up when I do that. I did an interview way back when I was just a fledgling cub reporter like Jimmy Olsen for a
Uh-huh.
site called thecomicstore.com that's long been gone,
Hmm.
but I republished it at Critical Blast. Did an interview with Thurl Ravenscroft, who was
Mm.
the voice for
Yeah.
Tony the Tiger.
Oh,
and,
wow.
and we were doing it at the same time that the Jim Carrey Grinch movie was coming out. So that dates how long I've been at this,
Right.
because he had sang the song in the Grinch cartoon, "But You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," and he never
Right.
got credit for that until a few years after that point. So I was talking with him about how that came to be, and he told me how they pulled him in out of the hallway. He sang for 10 minutes and left, and because Boris Karloff couldn't carry a tune in a bucket, so he
Oh,
couldn't do the
wow.
singing for himself. But the stuff that he talked about as far as the other parts of his life that no one ever finds out about, how he was a backup singer for Elvis Presley on a couple of movies,
That's
um,
awesome.
and the thing I'll always remember was he was in the Army Air Forces before there was an Air Force. He was in the
Mm.
fledgling area, and he flew the plane that carried Winston Churchill to the Yalta Conference.
Wow.
So I was like,
That's pretty
dude,
epic.
who's writing your novel? Who's writing your memoirs? Because I want in on this.
Yeah, damn.
And he's one of two people out of all the people I've interviewed where I've gone
Hmm.
unprofessional at the end. I said, I have to find out how to get an autographed picture. so,
Ah,
so I
who
have
was
an
the other
autographed
person?
picture of him. Yeah, he's a picture of him and Tony the Tiger, and he
Nice.
autographed over it, and I have a picture of Alan Parsons. That
Oh,
was a
okay.
bucket list of mine when I interviewed him. So,
Nice.
hey, you got any autographed pictures laying around, David? Geronimo, I'm gonna get them from you here. Am I saying
Yeah,
that right, by the way? Is it Geronimo,
you're right.
like the
Yeah,
Indian?
that's correct. Oh yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if I was like, making a faux pas, like, dude, it's Geronimo.
I know. Well, hey, people pronounce it the Spanish way, but some people pronounce it Geronimo, which is how I was always told it was pronounced from my parents.
That's that's how I've always seen people jump out of airplanes. So,
That's it, man. That's how I do it. I just say
so,
me.
so what kind of success have you seen with Blood Drum? I mean, you've heard feedback by now. Surely you're in the third volume of it.
Yes.
You said
So
people want more.
yes, I'm very fortunate that it's doing very well so far. It is sold over 20,000 or up to 25,000 issues, and I'm very fortunate that the readers are enjoying it. They like it. They're immersed in this world, and yeah, like I said, as long as they want it, they're gonna get it.
Did you get to do much store touring or convention touring before the COVID shut us all down?
Yeah, I do a lot of local stuff. I do New York Comic Con. I've been doing that for about 7 years already so far. But
That's
you
pretty
know,
big
it is big. Yeah,
to get to be local. Yeah.
yeah. It's an ordeal, that show, but it's my best show of the year, no matter what. Even though it's less and less focus on comics, still I do very well there. I'm very fortunate. Uh, but if they keep raising that booth price like they do every year, then eventually I won't,
Yeah.
because I think they're making that small press area tinier and tinier. So we'll see what happens. But now I doubt they're going to have it. They still won't make an official announcement. But I mean, just to have New York Comic Con now, I don't think that's a very good idea. But if they don't, I think maybe they'll be inclined to have incentive prices for small press.
Do you think
Hopefully,
conventions are going to come back?
I think eventually after a vaccine or something like that, I think people are going to want that. But they'll probably do temperature tests outside the door or something like that. I mean, it's going to be. I can't
6 hour
imagine.
line.
Yeah, I was just. I don't know. I think now I don't think is a good time at all. I think
Yeah.
New York Comic Con needs to just get off their high horse and just say, all right, we're not having it this year.
Yeah. I mean, I go to conventions with the expectation that I'm going to come home with the con crud. It's
Right.
it's
Yes.
given. You're all packed in there. Somebody's going to come there sick, and you're all going to go home that way.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
I but I miss comic conventions, and
Oh yeah, me too.
I've actually missed comic conventions long before this whole virus shutdown stuff here, because
Mhm.
when I used to go to the Chicago Comic Con in 1986, 1987,
Mm.
when it was a comic convention.
Yeah,
And
right.
now I go to Wizard World, and
Oh,
the only comics I see there are a couple of the local retail shops who bought a corner booth to sell their back issues,
right.
and the cover artists who are freelancers who do like Zenoscope or the others
Mm.
set up their prints. But back in the day, I was like, hey, DC Comics is over here, actual DC, people that you read,
Yeah.
and,
Right.
and
Right.
and Marvel's over here, and Archie was there, and do they only go to like NYCC and San Diego now, or?
I know, basically. I mean, everybody's at New York Comic Con. I've never been to San Diego, but I do miss. It's hard. Like, I do miss the convention scene, but I want one that's just more focused on comics. I'm sure everyone agrees. I mean, it's just I'm tired of the emphasis on the movies. At this point, it's like, all right, a guest appearance by this actor they're gonna premiere the trailer. It's like, come on, let's buy some
Have a
comics.
pop culture convention. That's great.
Yes,
Get
just
us back to
separate it already.
Comic Cons.
Yes, it's so true. I mean, Saturdays though, I can't stand Saturdays at New York Comic Con, because that's all the cosplayers and the people who are there, because that's when they do the big cosplay contest, and
Oh yeah.
it's just packed with just Harley Quinn's, Deadpool's. You could name them. Just you could count them rather. Just pop, 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 pop. My friend and I have a game where it's like spot the, we count them, and it's just at a point. It's just, when are we going to get the focus back to why this thing started?
I was at Chicago Comic Con in 1986 or 7,
Hmm.
and that's why I see all this virtual Comic Con stuff going on.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Right.
If I can't stick my book through the screen of the computer and get
Yes.
you to sign it, then I've got no reason to watch this stuff.
Right, because you want a sign, you want a signature.
Exactly. And I would go and I would buy, art prints from people. I've got a rather disturbing collection that's solidly all Batgirl. I don't know how that happened. It's like I had a Batgirl drawing, and then I was at another con, and some other guy was there. I'm like, hey, give me a Batgirl. And I'm like, and I've got 2 of them. That's a pattern. And I just said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to have a body of work that's all different artists drawing Batgirl.
Wow. Okay.
And my wife is like, why? It's like, don't worry, honey, she's fictional.
Yeah. Then you start calling her Oracle or something like that.
Yeah. And by the way, there's only one Batgirl. She has red hair.
That's right.
And they quit publishing her 5 years ago.
Yep.
So, I don't know who this imposter is running around. But where I was going with that was that, there wasn't all the cosplay all over the place. And I know this because, now I know exactly what year it was, because it was the year of the Michael Keaton Batman movie.
Oh, wow.
And I had I bought a purple felt Joker hat. It was, licensed. I'm like, well, now that I've got that, I had to go all the way. I bought a white leisure suit, and I ran it through the washing machine 3 times with purple dye.
Oh, my
And
God.
turned it purple. I found an orange shirt. I found a green scarf that I tied around my neck. And
Yeah.
I just did the whole hair and face. And I was the only one. No, I wasn't the only one there, but I was like one of 6 people there who were in costume. I was the only one there, I think, who wasn't sponsored by a booth. Because if you saw cosplayers then, you saw Spider-Man. He was at the Marvel booth, and he was walking around.
Sure.
People go there.
Yeah.
I saw like the Stargrazers, who were, a couple of girls in swimsuit kind of attire for an independent science fiction thing. And, it's kind of cool to be dressed up as the Joker and getting your picture taken with Dick Sprang and Jim Aparo and
Nice.
Denny O'Neil.
Yeah.
And Dick Giordano. I've got all those pictures.
Oh, that's cool.
I treasure them. But now, yeah, it's like cosplay it's almost a cosplay convention at times.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. That's what it's come to. And maybe eventually we'll have some kind of indie Comic-Con. I don't know. We'll see.
I'd like to see that. Yeah, you had anybody come and cosplay a character out of Blood Realm yet?
No, but that would be amazing. I would love that. That would be super cool. I mean, it's not very complicated to do the Sisters of Silence. If you look at them, all you need is like a white sheet and some white face paint.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
It'd be like, of course, they do it, and the first thing people would say was, no, the angels off Doctor Who are gray, not white.
Right, exactly. I'll be honored.
Yeah, exactly. So where are you at in Blood Realm right now? I think we might have told me, but
Right, volume 3. We're in volume 3
3
right now. Yeah, and you could
is
pick
that
them
like-
up. I'm sorry?
and you can get those at your local comic shop.
You get local comic shop, but now obviously now it's very complicated because of what's been going on with Diamond, and Alterna broke away from Diamond, and then DC did after that. So now you could get everything directly from the publisher, which is alternaaccess.com, and you could get signed copies from my website, which is robertgeronimo.com. But there are certified retailers who carry Alterna, and they're all listed on the website there.
I'm going to write that down,
Mhm.
robertgeronimo.com, and I'm going to put that in the description
Great.
so that people can click on that
Mm-hmm.
and
That'd
get
be
their
great.
signed copies. And of course, if you don't want to do that, you can, of course, go to the Alterna site, like you said. But what'd be really cool is if you went to your local comic shop and said, "Hey, can you get me some copies of this?" And that way you could, because
That
your
would be
local
nice.
comic shop guy is going to order at least 1 or 2 more. Because if you want it, then at least 3 other people do.
You'd think they do that. You'd hope.
You would hope. Um, but yeah, you're right. It is more difficult with Diamond. Diamond's losing. I heard a rumor
Mm-hmm.
that it should come to fruition this week that another publisher was stepping away from Diamond, and
Oh,
it's not Marvel, but it's not some low level person either. It's going to be impacting. So
do you
we'll see
know,
who that is.
or you don't know
I I don't. I've heard my suspicion that it was going to be Dynamite. Uh,
Well,
and,
they're under a lot of dynamite right now.
yeah, yeah. I thought it was going to be Dynamite, and I figured they were kind of like holding that news back this week because they were just taking it on all sides.
Oh, okay.
This
I
week,
see.
so I felt sorry for Nick. And then I heard somebody say that no, I don't think it's Dynamite. I'm betting it's IDW. I'm like, well, that would be a double whammy from them as well, with Chris Rial just
He just
stepping out to do his
well,
own thing.
that's the thing. Did he step down or was he removed? It's hard to tell from the
Uh,
articles.
the PR piece that was sent directly to us
Mhm.
did not say he was removed. It said he was
Just
moving
stepping
into
in.
his own company. And then
Oh,
today we
okay.
got the notice that some executive VP was moving up to take his place. So
Hmm.
a lot of moving and shaking in the industry today.
Oh, everything's going to change. Everything
yeah.
is going to change, without a doubt.
I think yeah, we're not an Alterna stream here, so I don't want to talk too much out of school, but I think DC is going to be leading the industry here pretty soon. Just because they've taken the bull by the horns as far as it goes with distribution, getting back into the stores as quickly as possible. They're changing leadership. I think they
Right.
saw the writing on the wall with that whole advanced response to the 5G thing, because that's not
Right.
happening now.
Right.
And we were at a point we weren't supposed to have comic books yet.
Right.
Because Diamond had said, we're not shipping till August, and DC said we have comic books out on Tuesday, and suddenly Diamond's like, end of May, yeah, we can do end of May, sure, no
Yeah.
problem.
Right. Peter from Alterna did the same thing. He was like, "Yeah, Diamond's not doing it, but we have them, and we'll be shipping them out." So,
Exactly.
and that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to have more publishers go directly to their readers, and not get rid of a middleman. I mean, we're still going to have distributors, because I know Alterna just got in with was it DCBS? Was that the right? Or am I saying that wrong? The
I
new
don't know.
one of the new distributors that I believe DC's using. So
But I saw it might be the distributor to Alterna. I saw Peter tweet just a little bit ago that he's canceling business with whoever sends the books to Alterna because they're coming to him.
Oh no, that's a different one. Yeah, that's a different one.
And that's inbound stuff. But the outbound stuff, again, the LCS guys are saying that Lunar and DCBS, they've been doing.
That's it. Yeah,
they're coming in great as far as their damages go. Because I guess with like Diamond, if you had two single books, they'd come one in a box.
Oh yeah.
They'd be overshipped. Or if they did come with a full box, it'd be like, here's 10 copies of Batman, 3 copies of Superman, 10 more copies of Batman, another copy of Superman. They're all shuffled up, they're laid out, and then your variant cover that you had to buy so many of laid sideways across them, and something heavy put on it so that it's nice and wrinkled.
Well, that's why that's why they're crumbling, in my opinion. The complaints have been. How long have people been complaining about them? It's like for decades.
Well, the good thing is, I guess, is that I took it out. I can't believe I did that. I had an overlay in here that I like to keep using. It was
For Diamond?
Steve Jeppy had returned to work. I took it out now, and it was that picture from Facebook where he had like the 5 supermodels at the restaurant with him.
That guy's a
I
character.
just pop that up from now and then. Yeah, he is a character,
Oh my
and I know he loves comics, so I'm hoping that him coming back can fix things up. But I think it might be a little late in the game too.
Yeah, it's too late. I think it's too late.
Talking too much and going too dry. I had a drinking stream the other night where I had beer instead of this. I'm like, I shouldn't do that anymore.
No, definitely not.
Because I don't know how some of these people do it. You see they're on drinking streams and they're getting drunk in the middle. I'm like, no, I've got to ask questions and be cognizant of what I'm saying here.
Right.
I have guests in the house. You said you wanted to own your own thing, which is why you're doing Blood Realm rather than
Right.
working in other people's playhouses,
Sure. Oh, real quick,
sandboxes and
sorry.
stuff.
Peter just he said we sell directly to DCBS. DCBS Lunar isn't distributing Alterna, so they sell directly to them.
Aha. I had shifted out of my comment box. I could not see that. So,
It's okay.
yes. Thank you, Peter. Yeah, we kind of figured out it was somebody else that you were talking about earlier there. Admiral Dark Hair. Admiral, it's Soda. It's really Soda. I'm just, Dark Admiral March Hare is in the house. Welcome.
Hey, buddy.
March
What's
Hare.
going on?
Good to see you here. So what I was trying to get around to asking you was, if you had the opportunity to work with an established franchise
Mm-hmm.
and to do it with your storytelling technique and your art style without having to go to house style, who would you like to create with through a Blood Realm lens?
That's tough. That's tough because I'm trying to think of if there is a character I actually love more or love enough willing to do that. I would say if I had to choose, if I had to, because I would much rather obviously be doing my stuff and just building on that universe. But if I had the decision and they wanted, I was at gunpoint, they said choose, I would choose two. I would say John Constantine Hellblazer,
Oh, yeah.
because I've always been a big fan of John Constantine and the type of storytelling, with the dark demons and the mage and all that creepy stuff. And I think someone needs to get in there and tell a real Conan the Barbarian story.
Yes. Crom, you're right.
Yes.
You know what pisses me off about John Constantine?
What?
Since you brought it up here.
Sure.
It's like Matt Ryan voiced John Constantine in the DC animated universe.
Yeah, he's perfect.
Played him in Hellblazer, or in the show Hellblazer. Played him on Legends of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Embodies the character. People are talking about him. Warner Brothers says, "Hey, people are talking about this John Constantine character we own here. Maybe we should get back to making a movie about it." And what do? They say, "Yeah, let's see if Keanu's available."
Hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie, I do like that movie, but it's not John Constantine. It's Keanu Constantine.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, mate. I don't even know if he affects a British accent in it.
He doesn't. He doesn't in that one. Yeah.
Okay, so it's John Wick killing demons.
Basically, I feel like that movie definitely does need a sequel because, but make it R-rated.
Was the first one not?
No, it's PG-13. Yeah.
It was the art that drew in the Dark Admiral.
Oh, so thank you, Dark Admiral March.
Doing a great job there. That. Yeah, that's why I say I've got this body of Batgirl work because I like seeing a character interpreted
by different artists,
different styles here.
Yeah.
Even if it's not their thing. Because I've done that before. I've gone to say, "Hey, could you draw this?" Like, well, that's not really the kind of drawing I do. I'm like, I know that's exactly why I want this character.
Right? Yeah, you're curious to see what they do. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I want to see a Frank Sim Batman. I want to see a,
nice.
a Dave Sim Batman. I've got Frank
right.
Dave Sim married together. I want to see a Robert Geronimo Superman. Just to see that scratchboard technique and what it would come out looking like.
Oh, okay.
And that'll be on Twitter in 2 days now, right? Okay, so just making
you can expect it.
Frog G, I was happy when my local comic shop started carrying Alterna. Good for them. You have a good shop.
Yes.
Gave me options for good comics again. I hope the locals survive this so I can support the stores again. Yes, everybody hit your local comic book store. No, everybody go to your local comic book store. Don't hit them. They've been hit hard enough. But yeah, tell them what you want and place orders. And then, and this is the most important part, go get your orders after you make them. Don't leave them in your pull box. Show your retailers some love there and they will love you back. I love my local comic shop, Cosmic Comics in Belleville. They're always pointing me towards new and interesting independent stuff. which is how I ended up with Engine Ward that I'm going to be reviewing this week. I know it's last week's book, and it's a #1. He's like, hey, we have a new #1 from an indie. You should check it out. And then I did an interview with some Pittsburgh creators, which I just called it The Pit, but it was like 3 different guys at one time, and they just all happened to be in Pittsburgh, so they were all on the same show. And he saw it, and he got in touch with them, or they got in touch with him. So now I've got the Heroinberg comics, which was directly a result of that show to my local comic shop back to me. So
Cool.
I keep hearing a lot of big names out in Twitter comics Twitter, however it's said,
Right.
talk about how the industry is dying.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't recall a time in my life since the middle 80s that there have been so many independent comic book publishers out there.
Right.
In my opinion, if DC and Marvel were to collapse, that would be the best thing that could happen to the industry. I liken it to being like, there was a village living outside of 2 giant trees, like Yggdrasil trees.
Nice.
And suddenly one of the trees got sick, and the other tree got sick, and one fell into the other, and they both collapsed. And the people all said, "Oh no, what are we going to do?" And as the dust settled, they realized that, oh, there's this entire forest of trees here that we could never see because they were overshadowed by these 2 giants.
That's a good
and
analogy.
They just climbed over the dead bodies of the trees and started pulling fruit from all these other trees that they'd never read
Beautiful.
or used
Yeah,
before.
I completely agree. And I think we're going to see a huge surge in indies, without a doubt. Man-Thing.
I
that'd
think
be
this is a renaissance time.
Yes, I agree. No, I'm on the same page. Absolutely. Man-Thing. Hell yeah. Oh, I didn't think of that. I don't know much about Man-Thing, believe it or not. I mean,
Whatever knows fear burns at his touch.
I heard it's I've been told to be right up my alley, but I love the design of Man-Thing.
Yeah, Man-Thing was the guardian of the Nexus of Realities. It was a weird book because
Like
all the
Cthulhu.
Man-Thing appearances I've ever seen was like Howard the Duck coming through. I think Kiss was presented for the first time in Marvel as demons coming from a Man-Thing book. It was not it was not Marvel's Swamp Thing. I know it was, but
It looked like it.
yeah, not a whole lot in the. Well, wait, Dark Admiral, you didn't pick up the Joker War? Mostly back issues in manga. Come on, Joker War is the thing to be reading right now, and at least it's actually delivering on in a Batman comic what it says it's going to. There's Joker and there's war, as opposed to Catwoman and a wedding, which did not happen. But I'm not bitter.
No, of course not.
Robert, what do you read when you go to your local comic shop? I mean, you don't just buy your own books back. You got to be reading somebody else's stuff.
I actually, so I read a lot of, well, not back issues, but collections of older comics. So I've been really into Kirby lately. So I've been reading New Gods, Devil Dinosaur, and Chuck Dixon's Krull or Kull the Conqueror. Is it Krull or Kull? I can't see it from here. Yes. Savage Sword of Kull. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Kull was the Conqueror. Krull was the movie.
Okay. Yes, that's right. All right. Krull was the movie. Yes.
And Null is the new Marvel thing with some Lovecraftian elder god.
Yeah.
I hate when characters start their name with a silent K, and it's going to be. What I would love is for somebody to come out and say, "My name is Null," and it'd be spelled, K-N-U-L-L, and then everybody else in the book call him Null, N-U-L-L, because that's what we hear. That's what we've been saying.
What's the point?
He's a nothing. He's Null.
It's true, but
I do love the back issues. I have.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Wow!
And I love digging out my 70s runs of things because
that's the best. I love that stuff.
You get a full story.
I was gonna say you get a complete story. So yeah, it's just totally different. The storytelling is different. Everything is it's funny. I don't know if they were risks back then, but everything was just bold and exciting, and they felt like epic tales. Everything just
Yeah,
felt epic, and it was just well
in 22
structured.
pages.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so true. Everything just drags on now.
It does, and I'll tell you, I've proven it empirically, because I don't know if I was bored or drunk or
Or
slightly
both.
crazy. Could have been both. Could have been
Yeah.
all three. But at one point, I was like, "What happened to comics? I
Mm,
need to find out." And I went to the treasure trove here,
yes,
and I
that is
said,
a
"I want to
trick.
get a 12-issue run from each decade." And for
Mm,
me, that meant Justice League of America, because I've just
mm,
got at least two of these boxes are Justice League of America solid front to back.
yeah.
Uh, so I pulled 12 issues from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the
Mm,
2000s, and then the 2010s, because it was still then. And I said, just a random 12-issue run,
mm-hmm.
solid. And I counted the stories. So this 12-issue run gave me this many stories, which, in
Mm,
the 60s was sometimes more than 12, because you got backup stories.
right.
And I graphed it. And then I said, how many panels did I get in this 12-issue run? How many words did I get
Mm-hmm.
in this 12-issue run? I went through and I counted all the words in 12-issue runs across 5 decades.
Wow.
And then I said, okay, what's the cover price? And I got an adjustment for inflation on those cover
Uh-huh.
prices. And I ran the article, and it's like the first thing was like, oh, look, RJ's just discovered the comic books got more expensive over the years. I'm like,
Like,
no, the price is irrelevant, because we flattened that out. What you're paying in same dollars per word has gone up, and you're getting fewer words on top of that,
right.
because it was pretty much a plateau from through the 70s and 80s, and then in the 90s it just spiked on what you were paying for it, and spiked downward on what you were getting back. And
Right.
I'm not quite sure what caused it, but it never came back from that.
Mm-hmm.
You started getting pages that were fewer panels, bigger panels, fewer words,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't count sound effects as words, but
Right.
and that's
Yeah.
why I can read. I can get a comic book now that I picked up from DC or Marvel, and it takes me 5 minutes to read it, and I'm done. And
Mm-hmm.
it takes me 15 to 20 minutes to go through, a Kurt Swan Superman.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's just also savoring the. I don't know. There's something about those old stories where I would just reread them, especially the aliens comics from like from the 90s. When they would introduce all the different types of aliens. They had the rhino alien, the gorilla alien. I remember there was one shots. I would read that stuff over and over again. Like there
oh
was
yeah,
just something about it. Like everything just felt epic. It felt like these guys had something to say, and I think that's the difference.
yeah, and I did not need the fact that it was a shared universe explained to me,
Oh,
or
right,
the fact
right.
that there was like the cosmology didn't have to be shrunk down. Uh,
No,
I knew all the different planets and who was on them and why they were coming here. Whether they were
yes,
Krees or Skrulls or Thanagarians or Ranians, uh, which I thought taught me real science, but not quite so much.
what do you mean it's not real? Those aren't real
Apparently,
planets.
it's not real.
Oh,
Apparently,
that's
the
what
only
they
thing I could take away from comics is that antimatter and matter should not touch,
right.
because it gets really boom. Bianca Fights the Zombies in the chat. Thanks for coming by, Bianca. We need to DM in Twitter. You have a DM from me. We need to talk. We'll get to that. Uh, you know what? We're coming up on the top of the hour here, and this
Okay.
is usually when I start to close things out. Is there anything that you need people to know about Blood Realm that I've been too stupid to ask?
Uh, just that everyone needs to read it because we need to escape into some crazy dark fantasy, and Blood Realm is your remedy.
I'm pretty sure we're in a crazy dark fantasy right now, though.
Exactly. Well, this one has monsters, like, but not human monsters. So that's always fun.
See, I always wanted to live in a world where people ran around wearing masks, and it's just not the same
Right.
thing.
Right.
All right. Well, everybody who's catching the replay on this, do go to the description below It's right down there. The first link you will see will be to robertgeronimo.com, where you can get your copies of Blood Realm, and they will be signed. So, that's always a special thing to have, a signed copy of comic book. I love that. Because, not to go too dark on you here, Robert, but a signed copy of a comic book from an artist is something that eventually you won't be able to get from that artist. And I have many copies that I look back on right now. I've got my first appearance of Ra's al Ghul signed by Denny O'Neil, and I've got
cool.
my greatest Batman stories ever told, with a collection inside there from Dick Giordano and Shelley Moldoff and Dick Sprang. And I look back at Jim Aparo, and the giants have fallen, and there haven't been any giants to spring up and take their place yet.
Well, I'm trying to jump up there, so.
Well, we will lift you up. Stand on the shoulders of those giants. You'll look taller. And if if you're here and you like this channel, obviously we encourage you to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. If you want to help us out and not spend any money, just go by the website, criticalblast.com. Take a look at a few articles. Web traffic will be just enough to help us out and stay not afloat, because we're going to stay afloat, but it'll help us out and give us a reason for coming back to do more of it. If you do like to have things in your hands, there are some links to Amazon there to our latest book publishings, including The Devil You Know, which is a 370-page anthology of horror stories from 20 different authors. And beneath that, we also have our hardcover young adult superhero novel. See, hardcover and novel.
Very nice.
Called Bulletproof. It's harkens back to the Silver Age Spider-Man tales. 16-year-old Cody Haywood wakes up one morning to find out that he's bulletproof. But unfortunately for him, he has the attention span of a ferret on pixie sticks. So he needs his friends to help him focus if he's going to survive this superhero industry that he's diving into. Robert, it's been a pleasure to have you on here.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
When you get back to the next volume of Blood Realm, and you want to hype that up and let people know it's coming, we hope that you'll let us know, and we'll have you back here and talk some more about comics and Blood Realm.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Well, glad to do it. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and we will be out. Hi. Thanks for stopping by for another Critical Blast video. The internet is a big place, and we know there are lots of other places you could be other than here, and we appreciate you being here immensely. If you enjoyed this kind of content, we hope you'll return for more. If you click the subscribe button, you'll get a little notification of when we produce new video content. If you would like to help the channel out, there are many ways to do so. Just visiting our main hub, criticalblast.com, will do wonders. But if you're more of a show me the merchandise type of person, there are links in the description of this video to our t-shirt shop, as well as links to Amazon for the books we publish under the Critical Blast Publishing imprint, including the urban fantasy anthology Gods and Services and the YA superhero novel Bulletproof by Stephen J. Mitchell. Thanks again for visiting this video. We hope you had a blast.